Oh sure, I've got things to say about Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. But most importantly, they didn't have any popcorn buckets to go along with this one. Well, maybe they're over at the Cinemark and not at the Regal. I'll say this, the opening act of it starts out okay. It certainly feels like an Ant-Man movie, and I enjoyed the previous two. There's humor in these scenes that work, and the characters interact well off of each other. And then we go into the quantum realm, where that's where a majority of the movie takes place. At first, there is a lot of imagination here, between the character design and a lot of random stuff floating around. But it isn't long after that where I started to think that characters and a story I really cared about was all gonna take a backseat to a pretty big onslaught of CGI spectacle. And that's more or less what happens here. There's characters that worked well in previous films, but here are mostly reduced to saying stock lines like, huh? What? Why? What's that? Say that again? And as much as some effects in this do work, there are some that are kinda bad, especially with the green screening. After a while, even the world itself was too derivative of other things. There's times it looks like it's more so set in the Star Wars universe, as there's a lot of Star Wars imagery and set pieces in this, at least later Star Wars. There's even line variations from other movies. Too much of this plot just hinges on bad communication from characters, only so predicaments can happen. There's no real reason people shouldn't have known the stakes of this world sooner. However, the best part of the movie is Jonathan Majors as Kang. As much of a problem as I have with a lot of things here in this world, he sells his part. He's intimidating, calm, and really does bring life into this, and certainly grabbed my attention whenever he came on screen. But then there's other characters that really don't need to be here. There's a cameo from Bill Murray, and of course he's good. But once it's done, I didn't know if we really needed a lot of that. They bring back Corey Stoll for MODOK, only to be one of those characters where their idea of adapting it is to just point and laugh at how silly he looks, which, in fairness, the effect isn't great. And I'm sure people are tired of hearing this complaint, but outside of the first act, the humor is just not good. I don't want it to make it sound like I just hate humor in these movies. Absolutely not. There's plenty of the more comedic ones that I've liked, and some that are very funny. But sometimes it feels forced, or like it's coasting, or using a formula as a crutch. That makes the dialogue really lousy, with lines about holes or being a dick. I'll put it like this, the way the humor has gotten in some of these is like when a beloved comedian who had a ton of great sets and specials, but gets too comfortable as time goes on, and just goes in with minimal effort thinking the crowd is still gonna love him. And in doing that, it sacrifices timing, tone, feeling natural, and in the case of a movie, undercuts characters and takes you out of the situation. Like, I'm not watching the movie, but when a scene is reenacted or re-edited in an awards show sketch. Also, it has a lot of moments where I thought it was wrapping up, but then it keeps going. It's bizarre that it really is an important movie in this series for what they're gonna do in future movies, but they put all of their effort on Kang and not enough on the rest of the script. Jonathan Majors is great, Paul Rudd is of course charming, so because of them, I'll go as high as a C-. I also don't want to go too low because on a personal note, it has been a really soul-crushing week, and the movie is bright, it is colorful, it is dumb, so I give it props for being a distraction. There were a couple times when I did quietly break down in my seat, and thank God there was no one else in my row. Otherwise they would have been like, wow, that guy is really sad about MODOK's face. Alright, thanks for watching everyone, see you next time.